Welcome to the Revelation Podcast, Wrestling Talk again with Wani.
What's
So,
up?
who
What's
we
up? What's
starting with?
up?
Yes, that's it. So you saying what's up, what's up, what's up? I'm waiting for our truth and little Jimmy to pop up. What's up?
Ha!
So I guess we'll start with AEW tonight, getting right into it. We'll talk about AEW first.
uh, can we just say that they better throw a curveball at us? Because, okay, let's go ahead and get the big elephant out the room. That the Sunny Kiss squash was just so uncalled for. Bro, it's like they ain't got to do my man's like that. It's like literally V trigger and then one winged angel, 1, 2, 3, and then his face is just the meme of that entire week. And I was like, God dang. The fact that they were really building him up to the point where it was like, yeah, don't put me in no mid carders, I will squash them immediately. I like that approach because it's like, yeah, bring back the cleaner. That's what they want everyone to do. But the thing is, it's like I wish they didn't make it so trivial. I was honestly hoping that Wardlow would be Hangman Adam Page, and I was hoping that Hangman goes up to Kenny and be like, yo man, Kenny, you my boy and all, but when you fight Wardlow, knock him out, knock him dead for me. It's like, and Kenny would be like, oh, I'll beat Wardlow, but I'm doing it for me, not you.
I honestly thought Kenny was honestly gonna cost him his match against Warlow and just give him like the shot face. But going back real quick, after that match, Sonny Kiss versus Kenny Omega, Kenny sold that perfectly. Purpose. Oh, I can't even pronounce it right. It was so beautiful how he sold it perfectly. It's like after he hit that V trigger, got the 3 count,
Just the
he looked like he just went through a 5-star match. And he's like, we did it, a 5-star match. And I'm like, this was Sunny Kiss. This wasn't Okada. But, it's a different version of the cleaner. I'm excited to see. I kind of got a little bit Miz vibes, a little bit, where he was kind of cocky, not so Miz vibes. Because remember how the cleaner started, and I think that it's brilliant how they're building up this version of the cleaner. So I can't wait to see what else they're going to do.
I got you. Yeah, that's like I wonder what on earth they'll really try to do with the whole thing, because once they got going with the whole arc is because here's the thing: if they're all going to challenge for the world title, it's a matter if will the title change hands. It's like I feel like Moxley is going to retain. He's going to be the longest reigning champ in AEW so far, world heavyweight champ, and he was. I feel like he'll lose it to whoever wins the match. To be honest, the way that they're booking both Hangman and Omega, I don't really know. It's like I can't really tell like who will really be the winner in this. I'm leaning Omega, but at the same time, who knows? They may pull an upset, and have Hangman win, and then it'll be Hangman versus Mox. But
Should
speaking
Hangman
of,
beat Mox?
mhm, should
To
I
be
feel?
honest, I'd rather Kenny beat Mox. This whole reign for me is his redemption. This is how his WWE Championship reign should have been.
Mhm. To be honest, I honestly felt like they should have took the strap off him with MJF, because now MJF is like went from being world title to having like a semi political like backing to why he wanted the title match in the first place and why it took so long for him to get it. That made sense, especially with the actual U.S. election literally in a week. I think it is actually
Yeah,
not even a whole week, in like 6 7 days.
you're right. You're right. You're right. And speaking of that, I do apologize, MJF, if you're watching this tonight. I forgot my MJF campaign sticker. I didn't want to get it dirty tonight. You're gonna do fine. You're gonna win the election, and I believe in you. And I feel like whoever beats Mox, Mox, it has to be somebody who wasn't from WWE,
Mm-hmm.
somebody who's ingrown.
Yeah.
And you do got your options. You got Hangman, you got Kenny, and I think whatever match we get, either way, is still going to be top notch.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is it the right time to take the belt off Mox? They had an opening to do it with MJF, like you said. So now he has to campaign again, and he will win. I voted for MJF, and he did a good job in his match, and it was embarrassing how he lost. He will win. He only got defeated once. And like a certain other individual, he got defeated twice before he got his opportunity, but eventually he will be champion.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of titles, we can't talk AEW and titles without Mr. Vanity Nightmare himself, Cody Rhodes. Because as much as I like Cody, it's like, okay, you came back, beat Brody Lee in the dog collar match, but then immediately the next week you do the open challenge thing again,
And
and
you
it goes
almost
to
lose to Orange Cassidy.
time limit draw. I get that they're trying to what they're trying to do. They're like, oh, the only reason he retained is because of outside interference. I get that, but they can't do that for everyone. It's like, oh, so and so only lost because it was inexperience, outside interference. They can't do that all the time. It's like there's only so many times, like with Wardlow. See, with Wardlow, it made sense. That was inexperience because Wardlow has really only had like what? How many? Like only like 4 matches. Well, on
About
TV, that
five.
is.
Yeah,
On
about
TV
five.
matches, I mean, he's done like a few matches on Dark, but it was like those
Hmm.
were like dark AEW Dark matches are essentially squash matches to build up their actual pushed records. That's pretty much AEW Dark is. Entertaining, but it is what it is. It's just elongated dark matches, squash
Hmm.
matches. And the thing is like okay, so Wardlow he only has like 2 losses on his record now. That match between Omega and Penta El Cerro, it's gonna take me a while to not call him Pentagon because of Impact. Because I feel like dang, I done lost what the heck I was going with this.
You got it. You got it. Come on, Penta the zero. Penta on zero.
Penta El Cerro M. Yes, Miedo. Okay. What I feel like is okay. So we have inexperience versus a veteran. Veteran wins because he knows the ring works. But it's like you can't do that with everyone. Like honestly, I honestly thought they were going to take the strap on Mox and put it on Archer the other week. To be completely honest, because after that blackout, I was like, oh yeah, so Archer's new champ. And then nope, that roll up.
Mox won again, and now Speaking of that, I thought about the beatdown. I got some vibes back to when Eddie Kingston was in Impact when he was leading LAX. Like I'm pretty sure everybody saw that coming. Like Kingston versus Mox, taking Mox out. I mean, predictable, unfortunately.
Yeah. Hmm. I'm gonna be
I mean,
real.
we're still
Eddie is good
we're
on the
still
mic, but it's
getting
like
great.
his promos for me. hmm, His promos be so hit and miss for me sometimes. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I mean, it's a great wrestling concept. I'm still giving them time to adjust, and everything going on. I understand some of them a little bit nervous, but Eddie Kingston, I do hold him to a higher standard because from watching him when he first was in Impact and trying to see some of his earlier work, when he cuts a promo, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to back away a little bit. Eddie Kingston about to take me out to that promo with Mox. I'm like, okay, you gave me a side story about Frank. I said, I'm like, okay, I'm just waiting for you to attack Mox. And that's exactly what happened.
Uh huh. Speaking of which, am I the only who's not a fan of when they try to continue the stories that's happening on Dynamite from Dark? And speaking of which, the whole thing with all right, another weak point. Let's talk about the most obvious chink in the armor for AEW, the women's division. You look at that rankings. Nyla Rose is about to get another title shot because that little, what was it, a 15-second segment that Sheeta shot on her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Nyla Rose, I want you. All right, there you have it. That's our match of full gear for the women's championship. Like 15 seconds, dude. Just
Like
15. And
I
then
felt she shouldn't have got another title shot this soon. You could have built somebody else up.
especially not the fact that the whole purpose of Nyla Rose and Vicky cutting that promo in Dark like last month was saying like we won't wrestle again until we get that opportunity. It was like, why didn't you use one of like the three women? Okay, two women because Abaddon is currently injured
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't show it on TV to show her match.
Mm-hmm.
But so okay, that leaves Britt Baker. She didn't have a title shot yet.
Doctor AEW's resident role model and dentist. See the
Mm-hmm.
teeth looking shiny, so Brett hopefully won't crack no jokes on you.
And we're gonna say I take care of them. I just got wisdom teeth pulled out last like 2 months ago. That sucked. Anyway,
I got you.
bro, it's
Then
like
we got Big Swole, and Swole already had an opportunity. Then, I told you earlier, I said I had some news on the other woman that's been competing in AEW lately, the former NWA Women's Champion Thunder Rosa, who recently lost her championship to Serena Deeb, the woman who she actually beat on her AEW debut, which came as a shock.
mhm. So now that means most likely Rosa will sign for AEW or at least have like some kind of breaker partnership with NWA and AEW where she can do both. Kind of
Yeah,
like how Moxley
there
is doing
was
this,
something. I'll let you go. My bad.
like kind of like how Moxley is doing for New Japan.
Hmm.
Is Moxley still the U.S. champ in Japan? 'Cause I know they're having a
I
whole tournament.
believe so. I believe he still is the IWGP United States Champion. We gotta check into that to see because I don't know if he necessarily made the jump over there due to travel restrictions.
I feel like
And
once the quarantine is over for the U.S. and Japan allows American citizens to fly in, I feel like then
Mox,
Moxley will defend it and be completely honest, most likely lose it to whoever has won or will win that that contender tournament. I didn't pay attention to who won it.
I actually do have a joke about that, but first let me get back to Thunder Rosa. There was speculation that she was heading to WWE, but the NWA president Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins confirmed that her contract doesn't run out with NWA to at least 2021. Do you know, now getting back to Mr. Mox, do you know the one unfortunate comparison between him and his WWE character of Dean Ambrose?
What would that be?
The fact that they barely defended the United States Championship.
Oh
The
no.
one sore spot, and I look at that not to make fun of him due to COVID. I just thought about it was funny. I was talking with my friend, and he said another one of my friends, and he was like, the funny thing about the John Mox character and Dean Ambrose that's sad. And I said, what is it? The fact that the man didn't get the chance to defend his U.S. championship. And I said, dog, in WWE and New Japan, I know he upset. So who do you give the IWGP U.S. championship to?
To be honest, dude, I have no idea. I didn't even pay attention to half the names that were in the bracket. I think the only name I remember being in there was, I think it was one of the Tongans. Was it Tongalo or Tamatonga? I forgot.
To be honest, I would honestly put a match between Miro versus Tamatonga just so he can have that another dominant reign as U.S. champion. But at the same time, Tamatonga does deserve the opportunity to branch out outside of the Gorilla of Destiny, which is one of my favorite tag teams.
Oh,
Also,
I'm
do a little quick WWE recap. We had the Hell in the Cell pay per view, and we also had Halloween Havoc. And I actually chose to watch, some of NXT last night. So at Hell in the Cell, Sasha Banks defeated Bailey, so she's now the blueprint, officially the blueprint of the SmackDown Women division. Can't wait to see her versus Bianca Belair. The tribal chief Roman Reigns defeated Jey Uso in a very, very compelling story against his brother. I mean, his cousin, correction. And personally, now thinking about the fact where they called because he lost, he has to become Roman's indentured servant. It almost makes no sense why Naomi was drafted to Raw. And I'm gonna look at the fact, well, okay, how are you gonna explain if Naomi technically is one of the twins' wife? She's on Raw, so now you got to put her back on SmackDown.
Mhm.
Randy Orton is now tied with Triple H for his WWE Championship reign.
Mhm.
What up?
If you are on Twitter, or I think he left it on Instagram, bro, Randy Orton got jokes.
Oh yeah, I
Cause,
heard Randy's a troll. He don't even gotta literally RKO. He trolls out of nowhere now, from RKO to trolling out of nowhere.
bro,
So what did the Viper do this time?
took the little stat that WWE put up, me saying like the members of Evolution have so many championships between them, and then he retweeted with the quote, "Ah, yeah, three legends and one actor."
Batista.
Poor Batista.
So I guess that'll be our next match after Edge. The Viper versus Drax. Let's book it next year for Halloween Havoc. Um, I know Batista just looking now like,
You.
what's the best way to get back at WWE? AEW, do y'all have an opening for a Moxon?
Oh god,
But
that
I
would be
think that
great.
he's too loyal to WWE to actually go to AEW. But if he does, it'll be interesting. Like nobody honestly thought Chris Jericho was gonna wrestle for another American promotion. Now you look at how the champion has repositioned himself.
Mhm.
But when we get back to
Another thing
NXT,
about Jericho, to be honest, AEW needs to stop giving that man so many shirts. He has like, what is it, 20 shirts now?
I mean, think about it. He's gonna come up with another title, and people are gonna buy it. The champion, the demagogue. What's next? I don't even know. NXT Johnny Gargano is now a two-time North American champion.
Hmm.
Um, Dexter Loomis threw Cameron Grimes to the Zombies. Rhea Ripley defeated Raquel Gonzalez. What else happened? Io Shirai successfully defended her NXT Women's Championship in a tables, ladders, and scare match. And
These names.
Pete Dunne has successfully returned to NXT, and he laid out Kyle O'Reilly. And for me, the joke was, didn't they end up defeating the Undisputed Era for their tag team championship? So now you want to make it seem like they were friends all of a sudden. He's a freaking bruiserweight,
Bro,
and
and the
now
fact that literally even Pete Dunne was like, had to share on Twitter is like, and people even called this out beforehand. It's like, yeah, didn't Roderick Strong betray him in the Dusty Classic 2 years ago? What made you think that he would help the Undisputed Era?
it's and when I think about that very statistic in fact, like I feel like WWE and NXT needs to trade the book with AEW. You tell good story. You forget good story. Like stop translating everything from dark to dynamite. NXT, remember who y'all are. Y'all the black and gold brand. Y'all remember stuff. And it's just like what sense would it make for Pete Dunne to side with the Undisputed Era when you could bring that's the perfect reason to bring him back. Hey, remember 2 years ago when you guys betrayed me and set me up on that night? Adam Cole was ended up becoming a double champion. And remember, Pete was about to hit the bitter end and successfully win the Dusty Tag Team Cup and the Tag Team titles, and then Adam Cole got that pin. And people are just like, that didn't happen. It did happen.
Mm-hmm. They forget.
They forget.
How you forget?
That's how Roddy literally became a member of the UE.
Mm-hmm. Poor Roderick and poor Kyle O'Reilly. That hit him with the oh my back. Oh no.
And people comparing this to like Pete Dunne full of Seth Rollins. No, people.
Pete Dunne,
They
poor Pete
fought
Dunne.
on opposite sides. The Undisputed Era were heels, and Pete Dunne, even though he was kind of a prick, he was still a face. And don't forget, going back to even just last year at Survivor, successfully challenged Adam Cole for the NXT Championship.
Mm-hmm.
2019 was so better for NXT. Keith Lee was limitless. Matt Riddle was still a bro.
That's
Mia
another
Yim
thing that I
was
bother.
still in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Yeah. What is Yim's name in the Retribution? I honestly don't even know. Do
like
they
retaliation, I believe, or was that Mercedes Martinez? Personally,
Martinez even got dropped out of Retribution, went back to NXT.
yeah,
That's
like
what. Go ahead.
personally, I would have honestly kept Mustafa Ali on SmackDown, and I still feel like Retribution is a joke, especially after you just had the Fiend literally bury Retribution. What I honestly would have did was have Alexa Bliss make Retribution into the Fiend soldiers or something and give us a new Wyatt family. But instead, you're just gonna bury Retribution, and it's like WWE hasn't successfully been able to build another stable outside of right now. I can say on the main roster of the Hurt Business.
Mm-hmm. Since they separated Kofi and Xavier from Big E because they want to give Big E's that singles push, I feel like that's what's gonna happen. Because all right, so the thing is, when Big E, my thing is, I haven't been watching SmackDown because I work every goddamn Friday, and the network takes
Same.
forever to upload any current events. Has Big E even changed like his theme music or attire at all?
Not yet. I'm just getting my Fridays off, so I'm trying to catch up on SmackDown. I try not to watch too much Raw and too much SmackDown because we talked about it. WWE has to book their stars better and book the shows better. And I can't necessarily bring the talent. I say it more so goes with the management. Because if you look at any of these guys, whether they were NXT or whether they were independent, these guys can go out and perform and play any single character that they're given. Like our Truth, for example, our Truth has been a rapper. He's been a thug. He's been a delusionist man. He's been a Confederate soldier. One minute he sees John Cena, now he still can't see little Jimmy. You can't see me, but it's just I don't even know, man.
I feel like he still should have been champ back in 2011.
I definitely agree with that, but
And the
getting
fact
back,
that no one ever brought it up that I think it's because like outside of kayfabe, I think he violated the wellness policy, and that's why he was like putting that tag team with Miz, and he left for like a few months. Like it was like I think it was like 2 months, and then he came back.
the
To be honest,
awesome truth, they made the awesome truth honestly work. Like they really, really did. Oh, speaking of the Miz, the Miz
yeah,
is now a two-time Money in the
money in the
Bank
bank.
holder, and the only other person to hold that accomplishment, well, one of two, CM Punk won it twice. Edge has won the Money in the Bank ladder match. It's the other person that they don't talk about. Edge actually beat Mr. Kennedy to get another Money in the Bank opportunity.
Mm-hmm. They literally mirrored with Miz what they did with Edge back in like what was it 2007?
Yeah, 2000 was it 2007 or was it 2008? I'm trying to remember. When did Kennedy win his Money in the Bank briefcase?
I think it was 2008 because that was the same year MVP and Matt Hardy were having that feud, if I remember
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So I think it was 8. But
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, it was 8 because he was on the mid card after because he violated the wellness policy, and that's when the whole, illegitimate son angle went to Hornswoggle, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
We all know
we
the
thought it
story.
was Kennedy, but Hornswoggle.
Mhm.
Man, times have changed.
Bro, we old and young at the same time. We
Old and
old and
young.
young.
2 years, if you look 2 years forward, we remember when people didn't take NXT serious. I remember watching literally the last episode of WWE ECW,
Mhm.
then watching like the first episode of NXT. And I remember my mom coming in and telling me, she said, "Oh look, the wrestlers are trying to pretend like they're actually doing a competition." And somebody pointed out to me, "Hey, you ever heard of FCW? Like literally, FCW guys became NXT." And I was
Mhm.
like, "Cool, cool, 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 cool."
Yep, I remember that. Because I remember seeing that one interview that Wade Barrett did. Well, Stu Bennett, he goes by now,
Yeah,
where he was like, "Yo, yeah, we're literally gonna call up all 8 of you guys, and you're all gonna be on TV." And it
and
was like, "Oh my god, that's basically what it was."
yeah, I actually remember watching the documentary on that not too long ago, FCW, the NXT story, which I'm also surprised they really let, somebody loyal like Heath Slater, let Zack Ryder go. And I also think about, Wade Barrett is another person who should have been WWE champion, multi-talented. But speaking of rosters and how to build things, we actually did build a roster last episode.
Mhm.
So I think we said we were gonna start. Hold on, actually, my bad. Let me backtrack. I actually have on my paper some other news that we talked about off camera. Was how we said that Xavier Woods should have went to NXT. If I was gonna separate the New Day, like you said, I would have put all three of them on three different brands, and it would have been interesting to see. Like looking right now, Johnny Gargano versus Xavier Woods.
Yeah, having Xavier bring back the braided hair when before he came to the main roster the first time and started teaming with
Hmm.
Brodus Clay. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's the Xavier I would bring back. Like his finisher, his solo finisher, is still lost in the woods, ain't it? That basically the same
Yeah,
finisher as Ruby Riot.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he used to wrestle under in TNA as what
Consequences Creed with
Consequences
Jay
Creed?
Lethal.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
said
when
I
they were
would have
lethal consequences.
wanted to see a version of that, but like we said, moving to how we would build our roster. So Survivor Series, building towards Survivor Series.
All right, so let's gun it just like it is now. Last, well, listen, last 2 weeks of October, it's announced the team captains for uh our Survivor Series team. I'm Raw, you're SmackDown, and I'm gonna be completely honest. Using one of my draft picks because I honestly wish they kept the women separate for the games because that means there's 2 Team Raws and 2 Team SmackDowns, and it's like I half the time I feel like it's been like the same must be 10 women on each show for like the past since quarantine started. Has it?
Yeah, so I think what we'll do, we'll keep the Survivor Series match for the men, and then we'll just do for the women one of the women that you had, like for example, Ruby Riot versus say Sasha Banks is the women's champion.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we start on Raw. It's like let me see. Today is the 29th. That's Thursday. So I said the last 2 weeks of October, right?
Yeah, so the last 2 weeks of October, so the match for the women, Ruby Riot is gonna fight Sasha Banks for the women's championship. For the men's team for Survivor Series, Keith Lee is the captain. Is the captain. He's gonna enlist Shinsuke Nakamura. He's gonna enlist Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, and surprisingly, he's also gonna enlist Roderick Strong from Undisputed Era.
Mm. All right, for me,
Hmm.
I feel like my team for the men, I would honestly have, because let me see, who do you say? You say Keith Lee would be your leader?
Keith Lee is going to be the captain. I said Roman, AJ, Shinsuke, and Roderick. Matter of fact, I'll drop Roderick and we can go back to the old format of the 4-on-4, like how they used to do.
4-on-4.
Hmm.
All right. So for me, my team leader, honestly, because I'm gonna be real, my team leader will be someone unexpected since he's still on Raw technically and no one touched him. I would make it MVP for the team leader,
Oh,
and
interesting.
mhm,
Hmm.
and then he's gonna pick just one member of her business with him. That be, U.S. champ. No, wait, he can't because U.S. champ and Intercontinental champ always have a match with each other. So
Matter
I'm
of
gonna
fact,
say
you can
he's
change.
gonna.
You can change it up. You can change it up because we're making the universe.
All right. So I bring back. So I say Sheamus,
Hmm.
then Bobby Lashley,
Hmm.
and in a last ditch effort, final chance to join the Hurt Business, I say we do, since everyone was kind of parroting how, oh, Hurt Business is the new Nation of Domination.
Hmm.
I'd say we bring Kevin Owens in, just like how Owen Hart joined Nation, just like that. So I say bring
Hmm.
in Kevin Owens.
Hmm.
But qualifier, the women I'm gonna have face the women, because I think going off of what my business would be,
Because you only have about 3 or 4 women on your show since Raw, they just happen for the most part to get drafted.
right? To be honest, I would honestly, because Oscar is still women's champ, right?
In our universe, Shasha is the women's champion.
Yeah, we never really said who was champions. We just said who got drafted.
Matter of fact, on the next episode, we'll backtrack and we'll talk about those 2 weeks.
Because you mind, you already know the reason why I had Sheamus, as I
Yes,
told you that
I
off
already
camera.
know. For Intercontinental Champion, I might just go with Matt Riddle. And so on next week's episode, we're gonna talk about the draft, how we came up with these teams, how we're leading into the Survivor Series, and you're gonna get the story. And so that'll be it for today's episode.
Mm-hmm.
All right, rock out.
All right.